Hello. My poetry book is on my eBay now. Links in the description. Hello. Ah, it's beautiful. Blue skies. Mr. Solarface doing his thing. Come on then, Bobo. And yeah, we're just enjoying an hour or so in the woods. Often there's nothing better. Come on, Bo, this way please. Come on. Now, as you know, I do these on Facebook, do these Thursday throwbacks, which is basically I go and have a look at an old video of mine and decide what to pop up. And a number of people have said, oh, thanks for that, I haven't seen this video before, or, you know, whatever, I've only started following you the last year or something. So it's kind of beneficial maybe. But also, of course, the message within the video may be beneficial. So I put one up just recently, and it was called How to Be Alone, which I made back in, I think it was 2017. About, yeah, it must be 6 years, even 7 years ago, who knows, quite a long time now. And on the back of that, little recommended video was a good video actually, called Who Are You? So that's on my Facebook. And I've spoken to a couple of people since How to Be Alone, and they've said that it's helped them, you know, to a degree, I suppose. So I've come to terms with being alone, because being alone is a difficult thing. If you've been in a relationship for a long time, or you've, I don't know, lived with your family for a long time, or I don't know, you've had some form of communal kind of living for a long time, or you've gone through grief, you know, losing somebody, or perhaps a divorce, or whatever set of circumstances it is, and you find yourself alone, it can be quite daunting initially. But I think us humans, we're very pliable, we can manage things far more. We're stronger, that's the word. We're stronger than we believe we are. You know, when push comes to shove, you know, when you have no choice but being strong, the strength is just there. And we learn to live with whatever we're presented with. Might not like it, you know, especially if it's been a bereavement. Yeah, we may not like it, obviously, but we learn to live with it. It takes time, and there's no rules as to what time things take, and that's grieving or dealing with anything at all in life. We should do things our way. But we get used to a different way of being. We get used to being alone, the same as we got used to being with a partner, perhaps. Because I said to somebody just recently, it's not always easy living with a partner. Not always. Life's not really like that, so it's not always easy. But then it's not always easy when you find yourself alone. And after a while of being alone, it does become easier. Everything becomes easier. If you're learning to ride a push bike, after a while that becomes easier. If you're learning to do whatever, it becomes easier. So if you're learning, which you are learning, to be alone, it does get easier. And if you're like me, as if you are a little like me, then perhaps you end up preferring to live alone, to be alone. Perhaps you do. I'm quite reclusive, and I have been forever, probably. And although I've been in relationships and all the rest of it, obviously, I now find myself alone. But perhaps there comes a time when to be alone is okay. You know, perhaps being alone when you're 20 perhaps isn't very good. But I'm 26. Okay, I'm 61, and perhaps my time to be alone is now, and it's more manageable, and I can cope with it easier and better, and it works for me. It works for me on my level. Not that it works for everybody. Some people can't stand it. I've got friends who cannot stand to be alone. Absolutely hate it, you know. And that's fine. Everything's right for everybody, you know. There's no right ways of being, I don't think. But yeah, if you do find yourself alone, it can be frightening, it can be upsetting, it can be lots of different things initially. But once you get over those feelings and start to embrace that alone time, the fact that you can get up when you want, go to sleep when you want, you know, eat what you want. You can also leave your house how you want. You know, if you're in the middle of doing a massive jigsaw, you don't need to put it away. Or a big, I don't know, whatever, a painting or something. Tidy up when you like. You know, it's your life, you can do whatever because you don't have a partner there to think of. Yeah, life can be funny, and we can suddenly find ourselves alone. That's the difficult thing. It's not when it's a set of circumstances over a year or 2 or 3 or whatever, but when you suddenly find yourself alone, that's a difficult thing to deal with, because not only are you going through perhaps grief, loneliness, I don't know, whatever, you know, but you've also somehow got to accept and understand and appreciate that you are alone now, you know, and you're going through so much that all that takes a back seat. You know, particularly if you're going through bereavement, then you're thinking about your husband, your wife, your partner, your child, whoever has died, and that's the reason now why you're alone. So you're thinking about them, you're going through the grieving stages and what have you, and then once things settle slightly, you then start grieving all over again, because grieving is simply a longing, isn't it? You know, so you start grieving for what once was, which was you had your partner live with you, or your child or friend or whatever, and now suddenly you're alone in that environment, and it's getting used to it. But in time, things always, I think they always pan out, they always get easier, they always get better, and more manageable, you know, they really do. So, you know, I would say embrace, if you can, that time, because you may not be alone forever. So maybe this is a nice thing for you to accept for now. Maybe it's just for now, who knows. You know, none of us really know what life is going to throw our way. And you may be on your own now, but this time next year maybe you won't. Who knows? Possibly you will be. But we just don't know, do we? Look at that boy. Anyway, so if you are alone, if you found yourself alone suddenly, yes, it is difficult to deal with, but again, it will, over time, it will get easier. And it is just allowing time to pass, and you end up creating a new way of being, a new vibe about yourself. And although things are difficult, I would advise that if you are alone, then take up a hobby or a sport or something, you know. And even if you don't want to leave the house, that's fine. You know, maybe it's cooking. You know, were you a good cook before? Could you be a better cook? You know, could you take up some kind of knitting or needlecraft or crocheting or sewing, or did I say sewing? I think I probably did. Or art, or I don't know, whatever. Think about things, you know, and spend your time in a nice way, a positive way, something that kind of feeds your soul. And being alone will take second place eventually. You know, your life, the way you deal with yourself in this planet, on this planet, is the most important thing. And to have things around you, or just some books to read or whatever, may prevent you from being lonely if you get like that. May prevent you from feeling really down if you get like that. It may prevent you from missing that partner to a degree. But ultimately, as I say, things do and will get better. They get easier. You know, things get easier over time. Anyway, so if you're alone, try and make the most of it if you can. Okay, we're going back home for a Slurpee. Try and enjoy your day if you can. Take care. Be well.